It's a brand new session of Poker Time, and your eyes do not deceive you. We shot this over Halloween, and some of the players decided to go with it. Not all of them. You see Timmer's not dressed up. Rafi's not dressed up.
Timmer's dressed up as a Timmer.
Yep. Rafi in his normal outfit.
That's Rafi's not dressed up. Stuart just wore his most ridiculous hoodie that he has worn before on Poker Time. There's Marty.
Yep.
For those of you who don't remember Marty,
get ready.
He is automatically the dynamic at the table.
Yep. No question about it. Always.
And here we have a 3-bet from Joseph on the very first hand.
There is Wonka looking truly like Wonka.
He dressed up. He even put makeup on.
It looks amazing.
It looks terrifying. There's Wheel in the middle there. I guess he's like a hairband guy. I don't know what he is. He doesn't like his ace-10 off, though.
Nope. He's going to not play it, it looks like, for hand number 1. But I tell you what, I played with Marty. There's no folding right now. He could jam.
First hand before yet?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I don't think I've done it in the first game.
He's going to call.
Marty's dressed up as the sky.
Marty in trouble. Dominated currently.
And remember, the cameras weren't working.
Yeah, and I doubled up.
Yeah.
Well, he's got an open ender. Joseph's got 2 overs and a gut shot. They both have backdoor flush draws.
Bet 140.
Marty could raise or call.
Yep. It's like a raise. How much did he make it?
400. Not a very big raise.
Not a big raise. Not a great spot for Joseph, but I guess he can't just go folding over his backdoor flush draw and the shot gutter to the nuts.
Not against Marty.
Marty only has 1.2K left. That is the one big problem here.
Yeah, but
You'd rather
you're just
be
calling
deeper.
with any king, jack, and of course queen.
Yeah, any Broadway. And
Probably
the problem
any
is
8.
a club, it gets weird, but
yeah,
maybe some clubs like the 7 of clubs you feel you can call. Maybe not every club, assuming Marty jams the turn, which I can tell you I played with Marty. He's jamming the turn a lot.
The price is pretty good.
Yeah, the price is reasonable for sure.
Joseph is gonna
Can't like this though.
might lose a big pot early.
Oh, well, never mind.
Okay,
on that.
so
That's
Marty does have a straight flush draw.
It's a good thing. He's going to need a spade because he just thinks he got there, and
Of course he thinks
did.
and he just checked, and Joseph moved him in, and he called. Oh my goodness!
Wow,
what a first hand!
This is crazy. Marty was drawing live.
Crazy.
I thought you might have queen, jack, or jack 8, same thing.
Look at Stuart. You can't believe it.
That is.
I don't know. We got all in on the first hand. I have the nuts.
How did a queen come off?
I don't know if we've ever had a first hand like that.
I don't think we ever have. Certainly not one that we've actually filmed. Sometimes we started filming and there's a technical issue, and we've had at least 1 or 2 other really big first hands, but that may be the craziest first hand we've ever done.
That is not the way you want to start the session if you're Marty.
Yeah. Marty and Joseph, you know, kind of a similar look.
They're not live.
They're not live, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
still
just a blind
yeah.
raise.
Same nonsense. Okay.
Yeah, but you guys.
Does anyone else want a gobstopper?
Wow.
Yeah.
How did a queen come off? Marty's jamming, I think, all turns.
Somehow, and that doesn't have Marty there, obviously. Somehow, Marty, who often goes broke in ways that other players won't go broke, goes broke in a way that a lot of players will go broke.
Yeah,
in
you and I both might have gone broke. Now, we probably wouldn't have called pre-flop, but if we would have gotten to the flop, I think we would have played it the same way he did.
Yeah.
Might even check that turn. They go for the check. You know, he just went for the check raise and
Yeah.
said Joseph put him in. Wow.
They last forever.
Wonka's looking creepy.
Raise 35.
But Rafi looks normal.
That's just what Rafi looks like.
He actually his normal. He just came from work. He does bananagrams, obviously, and that's Wheel, looking like Gene Simmons, I guess.
Played it well.
Call. Heads up.
I guess it's Gene Simmons.
It could just be a guy who's lived a hard life.
Look at that flop for Wonka.
Yeah, well, nothing though for Wheel at all. So Wonka's going to continue, and we will not see the same fireworks most likely.
That is just the absolute.
I have clubs. He has spades. Yeah.
He always thinks it through before he makes an action.
Fold.
I mean, on the flop, I have 1 club. He has 1 spade.
Yeah.
Is there a club on the flop?
Seriously, look at that bow tie. That bow tie is so matchy-matchy with Rafi's banana costume. It's kind of crazy.
What a turn.
This is kind of a tough lineup we have on our Halloween episode, by the way. Rafi, Wonka, DM5, Stewart, Joseph. This is not easy pickings day at the
It's called
poker time.
Poker time.
It's hard to get to the names sometimes. It's just rough. A lot of regs.
Fold.
Wonka could open this.
Got 3 guys at this table who.
I'm a little surprised to see Wonka not open Jack 10 off in the cutoff there.
Me too.
Raise
That's
35.
weird.
What's going on with Wheel?
Oh, God dang it.
Oh no!
Looks like blood.
He ate one of Wonka's gobstoppers and now
No,
he's bleeding.
Stewart's.
Oh, Stewart.
no,
no,
it
it's
was
Wonka. It's Wonka.
I'm gonna like pass out.
I'll fold.
Fold.
You
It
see,
was that was a Halloween
He's
joke.
of course not in any. Yeah, there's the fake blood. Yeah, of course he's not in any real pain.
I was wondering just a little bit.
Oh my god.
Like, no,
was like-
with blood.
I got some theatrical blood. It's over here.
That was pretty good.
That
That was pretty believable.
Since I wasn't watching, you know what I mean?
It's like, wow. Well done. Like, you dumbass.
Oh, I got 2 cards now.
All right, missed you. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Will did a pretty good job with that.
Absolutely. You did a great job.
All right, that was all the excitement for the night. Just right up
I think he should, the next prank he should do is when Marty comes back, he should walk up to Marty and fake projectile vomit blood all over him. That'd be a good one. It'd really get Marty there.
I feel like maybe you've got a little too far with that.
How were you planning?
Pull a carry on him or something, you know.
You clearly had thought about it in advance, and the gobstoppers made sense for the context there.
Boy, it really did.
What was the
It worked
backup
well.
plan?
Yeah.
I was going to cough it up.
Raise.
Okay.
30.
That one might have got on the film.
Yeah.
Or unless he pulls out the napkin.
I don't know. Even though I know it was fake, I kind of like don't want one of those gobstoppers now.
Yeah, it's true. They seem like they're going to be really hard to crack. Rafi getting rid of the Jack 8 suited, which got Marty in so much trouble.
And not even a 3-bet this time.
Different strokes, Grant.
4 players.
Never really understood that expression. What does stroke mean?
Different strokes for different folks, man. You like different things.
I know, but
People like different things.
But in what other context would you use strokes and it mean that?
Check, check.
I mean, you know, a brothel.
No, it wouldn't mean that.
Really? Different strokes for different. Some people like one kind of stroke, other
Oh.
people like another
You
kind
think
of
that's?
stroke.
You really think that's what it means?
I don't think that's where it came from, but I think that's a context where it would make sense. By the way, we've got the flush draw, we've got the straight draw, we've got
It's not that exciting.
2 people have big draws. And a
Big
pair
draws?
is-
Are
An
we calling
open-ended
these-
straight
are
draw.
we calling
an-
these big draws
An
now?
open-ended straight draw and the second up flush draw are not big draws. I don't understand.
Where's the open-ended straight draw?
It's the 7-6 that just folded.
Yeah.
Or you just missed that entirely.
Well,
huh?
it's gone now.
It was there until you said where.
Whatever. Different strokes for different folks.
What does that even mean? Anyway, here we are. Wonka thinking about making a move, I guess. I guess he is double gutted.
And he blocks the nut flush if it comes in.
By the way, everybody had a big draw. All
Yeah.
4 players had a big draw. 2 double gutters, the open ender.
I don't think we should be calling one card open ender / double gutters big draws. They don't feel like big draws to me.
I think a double.
That's my personal
I
preference.
think a double gutter is clearly a big draw.
I think it is when it's 2 cards. But when it's 1 card, it becomes obvious when it comes in. It makes it less of an exciting draw.
That's not what when people. I guess we all can have different semantics. When I say big draw, and the way I always understand it is just to mean it's in terms of equity, not in terms of something else. Like there's the bad draws, which are like gutters.
Are you loving that 16% equity?
I mean, that's a big draw on the turn. There's a combo draw is a huge draw, but like.
So
It's
the
not a
only,
gutter.
the only,
It's
the
better
only
than a
small
gutter.
draw is a
you
gutter.
have twice the equity of a gutter. That's a
I
big
think
draw.
we should stop calling an 8-outer a big draw and call it a medium
You
draw.
are the worst.
In the context of draws.
You're crazy.
What are the smaller draws besides a gutter?
That's it.
Yeah. So how's that a big draw?
What do you mean? There's a small draw and a big draw.
No, there's a small draw, medium draw, and a big draw.
No, because no one thinks of a combo draw as a big draw. That's a monster. That's a completely different thing.
That's a big draw.
Every poker book, I know you've never read a poker book in your life, except the one we wrote, but every poker
I
book in
didn't
the
read,
world
I didn't read that one.
refers to big draws as like flush draws and open enders.
I'm upset. And I disagree.
With what you're disagreeing with? What, that every poker book refers to?
You don't even know. You don't remember anything.
You never read a poker book in your life. I have like 18 of them.
I read Rounder's script. Wonka folding a hand that a lot of players would have played under the gun.
Yep. Somehow he knows that Wheel has got him dominated.
Wheel's got a
hearts.
big draw.
If he flops 2 hearts, he does, but there's already 4 dead hearts.
I could
6 dead hearts
I could
now.
get behind the nut flush draw being a big draw.
4 of the players were dealt suited and hearts. That's kind of crazy.
And Wheel gets to flop the trip aces. Not going to see much
DM5
action.
looks like he's already drawing dead on the flop.
Well, Wheel trying to
How
induce.
about that? You're almost never drawing down the flop. And DM5 was. That's crazy.
I kind of like Wheel's check against DM5 on the flop, hoping that DM5 takes a shot later, but didn't work out.
I don't know. Against DM5, you could also bet small on the flop, and 'cause
Hope
he
that
likes to do crazy.
He decides to do.
He likes to do all sorts of
out
wacky
of position
things.
float.
Yeah. It's a polarizing board. He might decide to take a shot. Anyway, it can't be that bad to check back either, of course.
They're gonna pull Scherzer, or did they already?
He's still out there.
Is he?
Wonka actually put makeup on for that costume. You can tell. That is
Yeah,
that's
he's living the
commitment.
dream,
It's
man.
commitment.
All his speed still in
Some
it?
people like just throw on a $4 banana costume they found,
And
on,
they
they
think
found in the
they're
garbage can.
They're worthy of being on Poker Time.
Exactly.
Raise to 30.
Medical.
And then other people like care about it.
He was like hospitalized almost. He had
What's Stewart? Is Stewart just foliage? Is he like
He's-
the
he-
fall leaves turning?
He's worn that before. You know, you've made lots of fun of it.
Yeah, of course, no, and I'm back to making fun of it right now. But you know, and since it's Halloween, do you think he chose that thinking like this sort of works as a Halloween thing, or do you think he just is wearing that?
Looks like bottom of 4.
It's hard to know with
Stewart,
Stewart.
as you can tell by looking at him, is a big time hunter.
neck is really have it.
I don't know. If Stewart hunts anything, it's probably humans, right?
Wow, I'm staying completely away from that. I'm not touching that.
Got a ticket for $480.
I mean, he's not going to hurt them.
That sounds like pretty reasonable.
He
for
just
a
hunts them for
7, you know?
the game of it,
Yeah,
like a photographer.
sort of like a photographer, but,
But a
instead of
photographer- but
instead
he-
of taking a photo, he blows on their ear when he
And-
catches them.
And then he kills them. Right?
No, no, of course not. Why would you say that? Hey, Joseph has queens.
Okay. Of the red variety.
Raise 40. Fold.
That's not good enough for Wonka. And will Rafi defend?
Yeah.
I say yes.
He's going to defend this hand.
Doesn't have to, but you'd expect him to.
It would probably be a mistake not to.
I mean, it's not that big a deal. 9-8 off. There's no ante or anything like that. It's been 4x. It's okay to just fold.
He's got a backdoor straight draw. He is obligated to check raise.
First
A
time?
jack would be a total
Oh, Joseph!
disaster.
Joseph just checks it right back,
Wow.
and the ace comes to ruin his dreams.
Yeah, Rafi knows that is not good. Rafi could take a shot here. He's got the 5s.
I don't think Joseph's ever folding when he takes this line.
I don't. Well, not when he's got queens.
No, so it's
Rafi
unfortunate.
does take
he
a
does.
shot.
He takes a big shot. 60.
Joseph insta calls. I like Rafi taking a shot there.
Joseph definitely got max value out of that hand by playing it the way that
Yeah.
he did.
That's true.
Undefeated against all fruit.
That's pretty good.
It's true. I've never lost to an orange apple.
Joseph, of course, also known as the Rooster,
Yep.
but today's Joseph.
He's the rooster when it's not Halloween.
You know what people say when he's walking down the street?
No.
They say, "Here comes the rooster," but they say it more intensely than that.
Louder
Yeah,
with more of like a 80s rock band type vibe.
something like that. Hey, DM5 really not playing any hands yet.
It's early.
I mean, he's one of the few guys who doesn't try and play tight from the beginning and then have it slowly leak out of his true nature.
No, he
just-
always
just-
plays loose. Yeah.
Yeah, he just does his thing.
Maybe he recognizes the difficulty of this lineup as compared to normal and is actually adjusting.
He does have Wonka and Rafi to his immediate left. Those are 2 guys who are professional poker players. So that's really unusual in this game to have
Marty was here.
your the 2 guys to your immediate left. Wonka will play back at him at least a little bit. Rafi also will light 3-bet a little
Yeah.
bit for sure. So it makes it a little harder maybe for DM5.
You know, if you're interested, just go say something to Ryan. He's like, well, I don't know. I said, we're
Raise
not committing
35.
anything by just going to inquire.
Fold. 35.
Maybe he's also just recognizing that the table is tougher than normal. And so as a result, he's playing a little tighter.
It's kind of exactly what I just said.
Well, I'm agreeing with you, I guess. If I was listening to you in the first place.
Which you were not, of course.
Why would I listen to you? What have you got to say? Tell them what you thought that the song lyric was.
What song lyric?
Give me the Beat Boys and free my soul.
Oh, yeah. I
What'd
thought it
you
was
think
Give Me the People is in Free My Soul.
Yeah.
But what did you think Pink Moon was?
No one knows what that song is. It's not going to help. You gotta pick a song
By
people
Nick
know.
Drake, Pink
Hey,
Moon.
Timmer's got aces.
He thought it was Finger Moon.
Yeah. Not the whole time, just in one particular section when it sounds like Finger Moon. Anyway, Stuart's got 4s, and Timmer's just not deep enough for Stuart to set mine. This is just going to probably win the pot.
How did you think you pronounced the city of Prague?
Thank you.
So are we just picking everything we've ever gotten wrong? Because
He
I have a
thought-
list of your stuff,
he
too.
thought it was Prague.
I have a list of your things, too. If you want to do this, we can do this. I mean...
Yeah, do it. Let's go. Prague.
So Timmer in that interesting spot where you have aces and there's already been a raise in 3 colors. You can't make it so small that everyone calls. It's going to be out of position. You got to size it up, but you don't want no action. And it turns out he got no action. It's hard to find that balance.
I kind of
sometimes.
liked his sizing, actually.
I
thought
did
it was
too.
fine with the amount of callers.
I agree, but you're rarely going to get called.
Yeah.
You know, and it feels a little bit dumb when you've got the best possible hand.
All right, here's DM5 playing the hands that we expect of him.
Yeah.
I would think he needs to be a darker yellow.
Rafi's going to call. He clearly wants to play in position against DM5 because I don't think he's normally calling a +1 open with this hand.
Yeah, he must have seen
Oh,
poker
maybe he
time.
is. In the cutoff, maybe he is.
Yeah, they're deep.
Yeah.
That's true.
I could be wrong about that. Well, Rafi flops fabulous.
That's an incredible flop for Rafi. DM5 does flop a pair.
It's nice to have the best hand and the best draw.
Nice double up.
I think Rafi should just call here.
I don't know, 15, 16, I think.
Yeah, I don't see a ton of value in raising except for maybe generating some fold equity against aces for the future.
Also fold equity against some medium pocket pairs. Looks like Rafi's going to go for the raise right away.
I mean, it's not terrible to build
No.
a pot when you have a ton of equity against most hands.
I mean, I assume Rafi's willing to go with this hand right now.
Look at this. It looks like DM5 is not believing.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to bet this hand on this board, it might be one of the hands you can fold.
I didn't know if
It's no help to DM5.
Looks like it's going to go check a lot here, I would think. Rafi could still be trying to build a pot, though, for if he makes his flush.
Rafi must think he's losing at this point.
Yes. I would assume I was losing if I was Rafi. See, if Rafi checks this, DM5 could bluff the river.
If Rafi checks this, DM5 might feel obligated to bluff the river. He would think, oh, Rafi's got some sort of showdown value, not just a naked flush draw. But Rafi's going to bet again. He's trying to eventually fold. Wow, DM5 calls again.
Rafi, I mean, he's clearly putting Rafi on hearts.
He's right, but
Or
he's also
4-5.
he's also wrong.
Well, 4-5 does come in. He was also blocking 4-5, of course. Rafi might bluff this.
If he bets, it's a bluff for sure.
Yeah. I would, if I was Rafi, I would not think I was good. I would probably be really concerned about getting this bluff through against a guy like DM5.
Yeah,
though.
DM5 could have ace-10 and just never fold.
I think I would just wrap the table, assume I lost, and move on with my life.
Yep. As we can see, DM5 was willing to call down with a deuce, so he's not the guy to try to get off of an ace here.
If he got 2 8s, he's not folding.
He might not be.
Rafi
He's
is going
going
to go
for
for
it.
the bluff, though.
This could work out incredibly for Rafi if DM5 really puts Rafi on like King 10 of hearts here.
Yeah.
And as we see, DM5 is not yet folded.
I mean, DM5 blocks the nuts. He could make a big play.
It looks like Rafi has a set or a missed flush draw. Maybe ace-7 suited.
Yeah, he could have aces up. I mean, Rafi thinks he got away with something there. But what he got away with was a bigger pot than one might expect.
First hand one has a banana.
He said first hand 1 is a banana.
It's an interesting... I mean, are you a banana if you're dressed like a banana or if you just think of yourself as a banana? Like, how does this work?
That's what understood.
I think he meant that he's dressed as a banana.
That's like
Wow, so you're now interpreting what he meant. Wow.
Oh, there was a 2 come off.
Hashtag time's up, Grant.
Wow. Way to go, buddy. Way to marginalize tons of people.
Yeah, no, I know.
You really
Why do you have to say that?
Because you did it.
No.
You're trying to make me look bad, and look what you did.
I feel like you're still look bad.
Because I said I think he looks like a banana, and that's what he's thinking about.
One of those long
That one
things.
nights early.
All right. How much do these decks cost?
seen. Has it gone down?
Just in the past few weeks.
Yeah, they're stick.
Well, they probably lowered them so that the newer model can get charged up.
Wheel, while probably trying to concoct some new way to use fake blood, is min raising with 5-3 suited, which is very strange. Joseph kind of has to call.
Yep.
Well, this is wheels for the taking if he wants it.
Looks like he wants it. Also looks like he wants to rock.
He looks a little bit like he wants to rock, yeah.
Hello, Detroit.
I don't know if he looks like a rock star as much as he looks like a roadie.
Yeah. Could be a trucker also.
Yeah.
Like a hard-living trucker.
I'm seeing roadie. Rafi thirsty.
You think it's on purpose that his water bottle kind of is the same color as his banana suit? You think he did? You think he thought about that?
Absolutely not.
You don't think he
I
accessorized?
I give it a 0% chance.
He
that
might have
thought about it.
accessorized the water bottle.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Fold. Fold. Raise.
Wheel with 2 7s. Does he make it 20 again? No, he makes it 30. That's a bit odd.
So it looks like he's going to finally play a hand.
He's going to 3-bet it.
He's going to come out of the bushes, play a hand.
Fold.
He played 2 4s earlier, but he folded pre-flop when 3-bet.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't done a damn thing. Not just in this game,
Wow.
with his life.
You are Stuart's harshest critic, huh?
Stuart, we care about you, and we're worried about you.
Heads up.
For anybody concerned, there's nothing actually behind that. Hey, wheel flops a set.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Stuart likely to going to continue on this board specifically with the
Feels
king
like
high.
an obligatory continue.
Doesn't have to bet very much.
Going about half pot, looks like.
Yep. Now, if Wheel could spy at all, he would just call. But
That's a weird way to say that.
yeah, I know. If we knew, I'm just saying, if he knew what he had, he would just call. But that's often true.
Yeah. When you have middle set and there's a king high flop and a 3-bet pot, it's not a terrible time to raise.
It's true.
And that's what he's
Raise.
doing.
10.
That's probably just going to put an end to things yet.
Yeah.
Stuart doesn't even let us get the camera on him before he mucks
It's
it.
possible Wheel gets no more action no matter what happens. of
Yeah,
course.
Stuart might shut it down.
Also, it's possible it comes out like running spades and Wheel gets bluffed out of the pot, you know?
Yeah.
So, can't be that bad to raise. But
Bananas are kind of like stop.
you always want to get more value out of your sets if you can. Like, it's so rare to flop a set.
Yellow means go.
Trying to get max value is
Green means
really important.
slow down.
I think he probably played it in the way to get max value. It just didn't work out that
Yeah.
time.
No, I'm not saying he didn't. You're saying it's a constant concern for me anyway.
The last part didn't really work.
No, it did.
Raise.
No,
45.
nobody loves old Mitch Hedberg one.
Fold. 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 Fold.
Well, there's an ace and a 7 that Rafi's not going to hit.
See, DM5 not calling the ace with the ace-6 off in the small blind. That's 100% a call for him in past episodes.
Yeah, it really has been.
So that's interesting. So I think he is playing tighter against this field, which is probably smart.
Yeah.
Good flop for Rafi.
Very good, yeah. Just 2 back doors for Wonka. I mean, kind of 3 if you count both ways he can get there with a straight, I guess, but
Bet. 35.
it's not really exciting.
Fold.
So that beard that Timmer has, where did he get that? Is like at one of those party stores, or do you know? Like,
They sell those at
much
Walmart.
those
Actually, it's like an impulse buy by the register.
look at that thing. That's incredible.
It's called a Timmer beard.
It's majestic. I mean, there are people who've been like, I will make it my everything I do in life to climb that beard. I will
What are you saying?
saying it's a big structure and people want to climb it.
I wonder if you didn't have, hey, Marty's back.
Hey.
If you didn't have me to, and he's limping 7 deuce, okay. If you didn't have me to anchor you for an episode, what kinds of things would you be saying by the end of the episode?
I will say I thought about this a little bit because with the whole coronavirus thing, I'm like, there may be some episodes I do by myself. It's not impossible. And I was thinking, how big a problem will that be?
You'll be just saying completely nonsensical things by the end.
Check. Check.
All right,
So
well,
everyone has a pair except for Marty.
Check. Check.
Looks like everyone's trying to give Marty all the room.
seems reasonable. Wonka is not going for value on the river, so he's definitely just trying to capture a bluff.
Yeah, Rafi really has to bet this.
Yeah, he's going for value. He's going to be sorely disappointed when Wonka snap calls.
Not a good run out for you.
That was ace-eight.
Oh.
Not a problem. Rafi lost $20 on that one.
That was, yeah. That was really
Sometimes you end up setting the trap for your friend and not the tiger. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think anybody knows what you're saying.
I'm saying, like, I think they were both checking flop and turn to give Marty a chance to fire away. And
It made it sound like you think they're colluding.
no, I don't mean
Your
colluding.
friend?
No, I mean more like I don't think Wonka was trying to trap Rafi. I think he was trying to trap
Yeah.
Marty. That's all.
like 3 overs.
The Green Vampire.
You saw that card?
I did.
Me?
You know.
But again, once again, what would I do without you? Lots of misunderstandings. Think about all the press releases we're going to have to put out after I do one of these by myself.
So many groups would be offended.
Fold, fold.
I once again stand here saying if you were offended, I am sorry.
But it's your fault for being offended.
I mean, that's the implication when people say it that way, right?
Wonka looks like he's considering a 3-bet here. Stewart does have pretty reasonable ranges, so it makes sense not to 3-bet when Stewart opens +1.
It's true, but also well, the thing is DM5 is going to call light, as we see. He's starting to call light again. But he's also going to call your 3-bets, so it isn't like you're often going to get it through.
True.
And with 2 7s, it's not ideal.
Whoa, that's a
Woo-wee!
great flop for Wonka as DM5 flops top pair.
DM5 is not the type to fold, as we've already seen. It's pretty sticky.
Thing is, you worked hard to build it up. You were playing really well. And then,
He's going to bet top pair. That does make sense.
When Stewart checks, sure.
So once again, we're just talking about getting max value with the set.
I think DM5's the guy to raise against. He gets real sticky, as we saw against Rafi just a few hands ago. He called the flop check, the flop raise, and the turn bet with just bottom pair on an ace-high board.
There are a bunch of straight draws Wonka could have here. He can have 5-6 suited. He can have 10-8. He can have Jack-10.
Conversely, DM5 can have those, and you want to charge those.
Yep. Wonka is going to go for the raise right away.
It's a beautiful spot for Wonka right now.
Stewart gets out. There's no chance DM5 is folding top pair to 1 raise. We know that.
Yep. I would be shocked.
Sometimes DM5 will put in a re-raise here to find out where he is. We've seen him do that, but he's not doing that here against Wonka.
Heads up now.
A little hope there for DM5. He can now make a straight.
Yeah?
Check.
That card should not scare Wonka too much.
I mean,
10-8 comes in.
The most obvious draw comes in, so
I mean, 5-6.
5-6 and 10-8 may be similarly obvious. It is slightly bad, but it's not the end of the world.
I think as Wonka, we have 1.2. We have, a 2-to-1 stack to pot ratio here.
He checks it back.
Wow. Wow.
Ace on the river. That's a pretty safe looking card. DM5 probably feels like he's behind now. If Wonka had a straight draw that hadn't gotten there, you'd expect Wonka to bet the turn, right?
Yeah, I would. DM5 checks again. Wonka has to go for value here.
I don't see how DM5 can call.
Me either. You need Wonka to have 6-8 or 5-6.
I guess it's hard to put him on a set also. Or
It
two,
is.
Or 2 pair.
335.
Incredibly hard.
Maybe you could have aces up, but it's weird for him to raise any aces up on the flop.
He could have Jack-10 and then be checking back once his raise
Yeah,
got
that makes
called.
sense, but then would he bet the river?
Yeah, that's a great question. You could have Ace-9, but you're losing to that. So that's no good. Looks like he's going to let it go.
Yep.
That's a good fold.
We're back, and we can see that Joseph has been crushing it, mostly just because of that hand with Marty, the very first hand, which makes plenty of sense.
Yep.
That hand was huge.
Everything else has been a lot of small skirmishes. That first hand was
Well, the hand between
all out nuclear war.
Rafi and DM5 was pretty big.
Find out mid-2020.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Here's Marty with Ace King. That's a dangerous combination.
It's true. It's like sodium pentothal and Madonna.
Definitely.
You don't want to hear what she has to say.
About that.
And everyone gets out of
Marty
Marty's
somehow
way.
gets no action when he finally has a hand.
Marty is exactly the kind of guy I think you should be calling so much lighter on the button if he opens, on, even under the gun. You
Yeah.
know, if you have 10-9 off, I think, and you're deep enough, you can easily call there.
Oh, yeah, because
Feel
he's
great
going to
about
put
it.
all the chips in a lot
Yeah.
of the time.
Like one pair is often good. But
Oh, yeah. We're going to see. I don't know.
sometimes you don't have anything.
Oh.
You give yourself, you got a lot of time too. It looks like that's a straddle from Marty.
Which is not a real straddle. It's a blind raise.
Yeah.
So he does not have the option if it limps to him.
That is correct.
DM5 should make it at least 70 here.
Looks like it's 75.
Yep.
75.
Wonka could easily put in
Yeah, I think
a
the
raise.
I think the nature of the
Oh.
under the gun open.
Wheel has Ace King. And he just calls.
Wow.
That seems like a big time 3-betting hand, which would really be a 4-bet. But
Maybe he wants to give Marty a chance to move in. Marty is gonna. We've seen Marty just move in these spots,
yeah.
and so having Ace King could be quite good, but yes, it also would have played very well as a re-raise.
Stewart comes along with 7-8 suited.
And pocket fives are still good.
Yeah.
But they were in the.
Looks like Marty's going to bet his 3.
That is optimistic,
Well, it says Wonka
but he bets small at least.
right?
DM5, we've seen him raise in spots like this before, and Marty's a good candidate to do it against.
Yeah, to isolate, it's not so bad. Just make it 200 even. You don't have to lose your mind or anything. Looks like he is gonna raise. DM5 just has a really good sense of where he is in these hands.
Yeah.
Really good sense, and willing to pull the trigger too. I think some people have a good sense of it, but won't ever actually do
Yep.
anything.
The guys who always say, I know you're bluffing, but I fold.
Yeah.
Like, well, then what's the point of even talking about it?
Why do you know I'm bluffing? By the way.
Yeah.
Wheel's got a big
What is
think
Wheel
here.
doing?
Well,
Is he trying to find a way to make fake blood come out of his ears or something?
I mean that'd be cool, but that wig is really blocking us.
And look at this, Marty just without
Yeah.
hesitation
Like I
calling
said,
the raise.
He is the dynamic at the table.
And he's got
Heads up.
significantly less than a pot-sized bet remaining now.
Yep, feels like we're gonna get it in if anyone wants to.
The 8 shouldn't really be part of Marty's range. If DM5 were ahead, he's likely to be ahead still.
Yeah, but I can understand why he may not want to put in the extra 640 when he's beat every time he's beat. He knows he's getting called.
Right, but he might get called by this hand too.
Well, we're gonna find out. I think he will. I think he's gonna get snap called.
He's effectively putting Marty all in.
Marty has not snap called, but I would expect we're gonna see those chips go in. It is the Marty way.
I mean, you have to put him on 5-6, right? If you're going to call.
That is the only obvious hand.
Marty does not like giving up his hand in spots like this, or spots like any spot.
Yeah, spots like this, meaning when you're playing poker. Oh, and he gets away from it.
That is the tightest fold I've ever seen Marty make,
How about
actually.
that? Marty figures it out. Now, some people may be sitting there saying, you're acting like this is such a big fold and such a big deal, but we really have seen Marty play.
If you go back to historical poker times and watch some Marty action, you will understand.
That is not a normal fold for him.
You know, it might just be that he lost his first bullet. I wonder if first bullet he calls there.
Maybe. I thought for sure those chips are going in.
I did too.
So hard. It wasn't like there were any Broadway cards.
Fold.
There's the DM5 range we're used to.
The limp was 6-4 plus 1. Okay.
So maybe he did come in with a plan of this lineup's a bit tougher than usual. I'm going to play tighter, and eventually, as you like to say, his true nature comes out.
Maybe. Maybe it's because Marty's in the big blind, though.
Could be. There's an open ender
Yep.
for DM5.
Timmer flops a 7.
Bet 25.
I think Timur has a really easy call here.
Yep. Couple back doors to go with that.
Yeah.
That 7.
Pretty good against DM5's range.
It's not a card you want to see as Timur. DM5.
DM5 limp, though. He does limp some aces, but
I think this is going to work. That's just my instinct on
he only
this.
bets 40.
Yeah, it's just a little under
Oh,
half
55,
pot. Oh, it's more than
excuse
half
me.
pot.
Yeah. Tough to hold on there. By the way, DM5 sometimes could be value betting a better 7, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not impossible. He likes to keep betting.
He likes to bet.
He,
There are times when he bets hands that feels to me like it makes no sense to bet. That are
Yeah.
like in complete middle of nowhere land.
Agree.
And,
Once in a while.
And those hands can get you in trouble with a hand like 7-8, actually, because you're like, why are you betting King 7?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, and we've seen DM5 not just bet that on the turn, but also triple barrel and put it
Yeah.
at the river. And it looks like he's bluffing even. It's mergy, and it's weird. And yeah. Well, if he plays this one, too, we know he's really playing. Okay.
Fold. 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 Fold.
All right, Stewart's got kings on the button. He's got Marty in the small blind.
Raise 35.
Will his dreams be realized?
So
He's
far,
at least getting called by the Jack 9.
Joseph can't fold.
Joseph could 3-bet very easily.
I don't hate a 3-bet at all,
I think
trying to
that's
get it in
actually-
against Marty here.
I think
Oh, my God.
How does he fold?
I can't believe it.
Was that some sort of incredible read on Stewart?
I don't know. I don't understand.
I feel like I'm 3-betting like 80% of the time there.
That's such a good 3-bet spot.
Regardless of if Marty's in the small blind and the one who called. Like, that's such a good spot.
He folded so comfortably and easily, too. Do you see that? Like,
Yeah.
he just, like, I think he did have a read on Stewart.
Anyway, Stewart checks back the flop, trying to give Marty some rope. He probably feels pretty safe on the 3rd queen.
Yeah.
Gonna try to get something out of Marty, and looks like
No.
Marty might.
It's impossible.
Jack high could be good. Stewart's on the button.
I mean, okay. Jack High, fine. Is Jack High going to call again?
I don't know. It's Marty.
Jack High
Stewart's
calls
definitely
again.
going to bet again. I think Stewart's the type who's going to bet something like 200 here. No,
Looks like he's going a lot less. He feels like Marty's just got too weaker range. Yeah, Marty called just to try and hit a Jack or a 9, it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't work out that time. Joseph probably sitting there, too, now thinking like, boy, it went check on the flop. Ace-9 might have been good there the whole way. But it wasn't. It was a good
Ace-9
fold.
rates to be good against that line against a player like Stewart, I would say, against his range.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The whole check bet line is often the river bet is often a sign of strength though on the check bet line.
I read that like a month or something because he went around.
I mean, if Stewart's sitting there with something like 7 high,
He's usually gonna bet the flop.
yeah, he usually is.
For Houston.
He has showdown value that he decided now to like go for 2 streets with.
I think
Usually.
Stewart might be sophisticated enough to show you a bunch of different lines with
Oh,
different types of hands.
I think you're right. I'm sure it's not always going to be value, but I'm saying I think that line tends to be stronger than it might feel at first because of the flop check. That's all.
Yeah. All right, so we have an error here because our interns are horrible.
Yes, they're very bad.
Wonka has opened with 7-8 of clubs under the gun, and Marty is 3-bet with king queen.
Marty's too short for Wonka to call.
Yep.
So obviously he bet
You win.
against it in cash. So
Yeah, he did. He actually, he apparently looked at insurance policies, but he got a much better price just by betting.
The interns are desperately scrolling through the hands trying to fix it all. It doesn't matter now, guys. It's
Well-
over. The hand is over.
There goes the snack break, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There goes health insurance.
I mean, they didn't have health insurance. Come on.
All right.
I'm not sure.
They're interns. I mean, they don't get anything. They give us, they bring the snacks to us.
And they have to do it with a smile.
That's right. So when we say there goes the snack break, we mean they don't get to watch us eat the food. Now they have to stand in the corner and look away while we eat the food.
And do jumping jacks.
Raise 35.
For as long as we say.
Sorry. Fold.
Well, it says Rafi's under the gun. That's a lie.
So there was a point when we were filming one of these episodes, and Wheel sort of looked around and said,
Maybe he's got insurance.
to no one in particular, but to sort of everyone,
Yeah.
are the interns real? And he said it with a real sweet innocence, naivete.
Will's going to love that you told that story.
I think people need to hear it. So I want to just say, from us to you, yes, they are real.
yeah.
They are real, and they Some of them very clearly are interested.
We've
for real.
cycled through at least 35 interns.
I mean, at this point, it's been 2.5 years. I mean,
all right, looks like we got it right here. Wheel is open with ace-9 suited.
Okay.
Marty is called with the suited connector hand.
Yeah, a lot.
No, we're on Wonka.
A couple times a week normally. I played that in May and
No,
everything.
we're
Then
good.
tried to,
Thank
but then
you.
they had the series.
Cool.
Myself, I wasn't liking.
Rafi's probably going to come along. No, that's a little surprising.
I played over there.
25.
Totally gonna
3
go
deuce suited.
tanking there.
I'd expect a call there.
I know how it works.
Oh yeah. Technical difference. What is
he's
he
regretting
doing?
it now.
Why?
He would have certainly flopped the butt flush draw.
More big tournament runs.
Marty's got a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw while Wheel has middle pair.
Check.
Wheel checks, trying to give Marty all the rope.
That's probably the way to do it against Marty, unless you just want to bet call it off, I guess.
Yeah.
Marty's now open-ended.
Rafi would have turned a straight draw to go with his flush draw.
Looks like Marty's raising. You can't fold if you're Wheel. You just can't. It's Marty.
Marty only has 370 left. You could just move him in and
You
worry
could.
about it later.
You could move him in. That wouldn't
So,
be
whatever.
That wouldn't be absurd.
Marty might call with this hand, by the way, even if
Yeah.
he gets moved in.
He
so
really might. We've seen him do
that's
stuff like that.
Some of the real value of moving in here.
10 seconds.
It did go check on the flop. So unless Marty turn 2 pair or better,
Marty's usually betting a pair on the flop, so it's like a set of 4s.
7-8.
Yeah.
That's the other possibility. I mean, otherwise you just have them almost always, right?
Playing 5-5-10. So like 3 blinds.
Marty might be raising a 9 for value after it goes check on the flop even, you know?
Yep.
Oh
Oh!
my goodness gracious. Is this going to happen?
Games all the time. So all the players that normally play like 10, 20, 25, 50.
I think it's going to happen.
Bigger games are just sitting back. So just literally money just flies.
Yes. Oh, it's so close. Oh, and he lets it go.
That feels and Marty shows the 7.
Oh, it's got to hurt. Well, the 7 at least could be the nuts.
Yeah. That feels a little bit like Wheel is not taking into account his competition
What if
enough
he'd picked the deuce? What
during
would
his
he have done
decision-making process.
there? Okay.
It seems that way. I mean, it's possible he just trying to find a better spot.
It's hard to
That's
find.
all I got.
Like, that's a pretty good spot against Marty.
I think it's a pretty good
That would have
spot,
been a
too.
different.
I would just sigh and put the chips in. You know, move those,
Yeah.
move a big stack of black in there and let Marty do whatever he's going to do.
Oh, I thought
You could also call and assume Marty's going to go all in on the river a lot of the time and,
and just
call
close your eyes
no
and
matter
fold.
what.
Yeah.
No,
Or call.
yeah.
Close your eyes and call, excuse me.
What was the other one?
Fold.
I just told you.
Fold. Wait, call. Fold.
Marty limping the queen jack. DM5. This is a good spot to isolate. And
He
that's
agrees.
What he's doing.
Fold. 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 Call. Heads up.
Wow.
That
nice
is
flop.
quite a flop for DM5. It's so nice against a player like Marty. You can just bet and just be so happy to get it in no matter what.
Yep.
Bet 60.
Marty's the kind of guy who usually calls here, and yep,
And
he's
I
got
mean,
his overs.
He called.
He does
did.
have 2 back doors and overs at least. I mean, he's short and he's out of position, but
That's a bad card for
Yeah.
both players.
Marty's going to lead.
I mean, that's kind of an interesting play.
It is pretty interesting.
He could have an 8.
Honestly, it's sort of set up pretty well, too. If DM5 calls here, of course he's not going to fold. But if he decides to just call, Marty has just a little more than a pot back.
I would be concerned as DM5 also that Marty had a 5 and would play it like this.
Yep.
Because we've seen Marty play hands like a 5 like this
Yep.
before.
Marty gets there!
Oh.
I think it's time to go all in, Marty.
Yep.
Bagwell played first.
That was the dream card right there.
There's on.
He does go all in.
I like it.
And DM5's in a tough spot against this guy.
I mean, really tough. It feels like Marty's got an 8 or nothing when he does this.
Right, you wouldn't put him on a 5 anymore.
I might think Marty's going to be check raising an 8 a lot on the flop, too.
True.
Probably not always, but a lot.
That might edge you towards the call.
I think I would probably find a call here.
505.
What can we really beat? We can beat 6, 7, and weird overs.
And other flush draws.
3, 4, other flush draws. 6, 7, 3, 4, and other flush draws might have raised the flop, though, instead of just leading the turn. They might have.
7, 9, 6, 9.
Yeah, all those things, though, same deal, right?
Yeah.
10 seconds.
4, 6, 4, 7.
But the 8 might have raised the flop, too.
He makes
He
the
does call. I don't hate it.
That's
I
gonna-
get it.
That's going to hurt.
There's the, look at the,
He's like, oh,
The
you
head
had
shake
you
of-
had like no equity? Cool.
yeah. And Marty gets the double. It is extremely hard to put that man on a hand. I will say that.
Yep.
Well, at least in spots like that. Extremely hard.
And it's kind of delightful to watch people try to figure him out.
Yeah. I mean, I get why DM5 called.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it's right or not. I think I would have called too. I think I would have just sided and called ultimately.
Yeah,
but I think you have a reasonable case.
I think
either
you're
way.
making money over time if you call in that spot against Marty.
I think so. I might just move him in on the turn so that we don't have to deal with it. That play though, that may be the one thing.
Yeah, that's not a crazy idea.
But we do have showdown value, so maybe it's okay to call and just call the all in and see what happens. I don't know.
It's probably a little bit better expected value than moving him in on the turn, I would guess.
Because we get to get rid of the equity.
Yeah.
We get to deny equity. And we can actually fold out of 5 perhaps, although maybe not against Marty, actually.
Hey, look at this. Timmer's flop trip 4s, but nobody else has anything.
Not at all.
It was only a $30 pot, but Wheel's going to rep those trip 4s, which is reasonable out of the small blind.
Yeah, absolutely. In a limped pot. I think this is a pretty clear just call.
That's what Timmer does.
I like it.
Hey, DM5 isn't starting off like incredibly well, like he does on most sessions.
It's true. That's only because that queen came on the river, though. But still, you're right. I like Timmer sizing it up a little bit here, trying to get value against a queen, which is what it looks like he's doing. When he bets 60 into 70. I think that's the right play.
Yeah, Wheel just gave up after the flop.
Which was smart on that dry board after getting called.
Yeah, Timmer always has a queen or a 4.
Or a pocket pair that's probably not going to fold when the
probably
pot
would
is
have
this
raised
small.
pre-flop with a pocket pair most of the time.
He's in the big blind. If he's got like 2 7s, he might check.
Maybe.
Too excited with it.
Can you throw this away for me?
Sure.
And
The bloody
Wheel
napkin.
gives Timmer the bloody napkin.
Here, I'll take it.
Yeah, completely sanitary and safe.
Well, unless
No hype.
unless that fake blood is full of stuff.
I mean,
Oh, he's
it's
not
full of something.
It does have substance.
So.
There are molecules.
Also, that may be real blood. The earlier one was a fake blood napkin. I don't know if
That was
that's
the same-
same.
that was
Is
the-
it the same napkin?
I can't guarantee it.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
All right, Marty has raised blind under the gun once again. DM5 going to make it 75 again.
Marty's going to be so excited to see the hand he has. It's like looking down at kings.
Wonka almost played the ace-2. Wonka's got a tight strategy for this table, it looks like.
Yeah. Here's an easy 3-bet. Or I guess
Yeah.
technically a 4-bet, but
225, 250, something like that would be good. It's like 350.
Whoa.
That's a bit much.
That's a crazy amount.
That's probably too much.
Crazy.
What would you have gone? 225?
I think I would have gone 240. Because we got the Marty action in there too. Marty's going to call a lot. That's going to bring in DM5 a lot. That's okay, but I prefer heads up if I can get it.
You've been watching Vadim, haven't you? That's what it is.
Was that the
225 can't be wrong.
Yeah.
You know. We're in that neighborhood.
275.
350 though. That's the hammer.
Yep.
You're folding out jacks and getting called by kings.
Never be too safe.
I mean, probably not.
You don't mean that,
No,
obviously.
not at all. Of course not. It's just a fun thing to say.
I have queens with Martin.
All right, Wonka's going to play this one.
Yes, I did, sir.
And he's going to drown a kid in chocolate for
Yeah.
disobeying his rules.
No one ever talks about, I mean, I guess they do a little bit, but mostly there's not too much talk about how Willy Wonka is basically a serial killer.
Oh, yeah, for sure he is.
Like a joyful serial killer, too.
I mean, wouldn't you rather him be joyful?
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
His victims' last moments can be a little bit more
He
full
kills
of
a
joy.
bunch of kids who basically are just curious and a little bit bratty.
He
Like,
also
what the hell?
enslaves like a previously
yeah.
unknown race.
We're not sure that they're enslaved or if they're just, happy worker types.
Anyway, that's who Wonka idolizes. That guy. That'll give you a clue as to his character.
Wonka has a super easy call here.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for Wonka to withstand a lot of heat with this hand unless he hits a set, but one thing at a time, I
Small
suppose.
flops are pretty good for him. That's not a great flop for him.
No.
Rafi has plenty of kings in his range. He probably has king jack and king 10 sometimes even.
Certainly ace king. Certainly aces, certainly kings. I don't see how Wonka can continue if Rafi c-bets, and I don't see how Rafi wouldn't c-bet this board. There it is.
Bet 120.
Yeah, Wonka, if he's going by distribution, he has some suited 9s. He has some 10s, jacks, queens. He has plenty of kings in his range, down to
Sure
king 10
does.
suited probably. 8s is probably just too low to continue in a 3-bet pot.
Especially with the 9 on the board. If
Yeah.
it was a king 7, and Wonka disagrees. Wonka thinks distribution-wise he's in a call spot.
Well,
Will Rafi continue now? Well, he picks up some equity.
he does,
That is probably enough reason for Rafi to bet again.
especially considering that Rafi bet pretty small on the flop. He probably needs to continue whenever he picks up any equity when he bets that small on
Yeah.
the flop.
Also, Rafi has a pretty clear advantage. I guess either player can have queen jack here suited. Rafi does check.
Wonka can have 9-10 suited. He can have king 10 suited.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. Wonka doesn't really have queen jack too
No.
much. Rafi has more queen jack.
That king is a bad card for Rafi to represent.
Rafi can have ace 10, though. He can have a hit the 10 when he checks back the turn.
Yeah, and
It
he
looks
would
like a
he
10.
could value bet that if Wonka checks.
He could also have queens and jacks and play it just like this. Maybe ace 9. Those are the hands that Wonka's losing to that are going to take this line usually. Will Rafi fire?
I don't think it's a good card to fire on.
I want to see him fire because I want to know what Wonka does with his 8s here. It's going to be really close, and he's going to base it on the sizing. Rafi's got to be thinking, if I size this up, I'm going to be able to fold a lot of things out here. Oh, he just give up, though.
I don't know. Might be good, might not.
Oh, that's a good hand. I could have gotten you off.
You hear Rafi there?
Yeah,
That's one of the hands he thinks he could have gotten him off of. I think Rafi's probably right.
I think he's a little concerned about Wonka having some kings in his range there.
Yeah, I think Wonka does have some kings in his range. I think he has king queen.
Yeah.
Certainly king queen suited.
He has a little ace king.
Yep.
He's not always going to 4-bet ace king.
That is true.
And I think he has king jack suited and maybe even some king 10 suited.
He might be a little more open to betting his best kings because he blocks Rafi having other kings, so he may try and get value out of jacks instead of worrying about jacks checking back.
Yeah.
But certainly he's going to check some kings too, as you're saying. There's no question about that. So it's a tough spot. DM5 would have fired, I know that.
He would have fired the turn too.
Yep, and it would have worked.
Got a limping with the small pair situation going on here, and Timmer's going to just take one of each of those cards and limp with that.
Raise.
And Marty can't even begin to know how good of shape he's in with his
It's
hand.
true, and there's the last 4 in the deck
Yeah.
that Joseph just folds. So Wheel is already drawing nearly dead. He's going to need to make a straight or a flush to win.
How could you be in this good of a spot 4 ways pre-flop with 7s?
This is beyond sick. There's 1 deuce left in the deck. It's diamonds or straights or deuce. 4 deuce would have flopped pretty well, by the way.
Yeah. Would have.
Bet 125.
I don't think you can go folding 2 4s here against Marty when you're in position.
I mean, the problem is it's not this barrel. It's the next barrel, which is usually coming.
True.
So you might want to just stay out of the situation entirely with a hand as bad as 2 4s.
I don't know. I think I'd find myself calling here pretty much every time. Somebody's eating some sort of... Oh, that's the gobstoppers that we're hearing, I think. Getting shaken around, looking for the right flavor.
I was just going to wait. There it is. Let it go.
I was like, it's gotta be a 7. I knew it. If he's offering you, it's not a 7. Nice hand. You're afraid of 7s or something? Here's if you play cards that are higher than 7 to begin with, you have nothing to fear.
Poker coaching by Joseph.
It's a, if you want to know how much it is, it's a reverse price, meaning he pays you.
That's nice.
Yeah, actually, it's great.
I'd take
I
that
get as
coaching.
much as I can get.
Yeah, I would take that coaching.
Just snap pile.
And you may be saying, well, how does that work for him? Well, you know, they say like on the internet, if it doesn't cost anything, you are the product. Same thing in this deal.
Fold.
He's paying you.
Raise.
Yeah. What do you think that means, buddy? Put 2 and 2 together.
You know, I saw there are actually now reverse paying jobs where you have to pay to have the job.
Like internships where you pay. By the way, can we look into that? please?
Yeah.
I have seen that actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Insane. Absolutely insane. Well, you know, it goes along with the whole thing of like negative interest rates and stuff like that for savings
Sure.
now. Like 5-year bonds with a negative rate.
Yeah, you can't always show them the 7. Sometimes you gotta show them the deuce. You know.
I mean, that is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Got him.
You want to pay $20 an hour to do data entry, so eventually maybe you'll move up in the company? Sounds great.
I meant more like you want to put $100,000 in the CD and
get
get 95,000 back. Yeah, 5 years from now, when by the way inflation's gone up 6% a year, like that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Hey, you've lost like 30% of value.
So what's the value of doing that instead of a checking account or a save? Like, just keeping it in a checking account?
I'm struggling to come up with a good answer.
35.
But this is a thing. These are things now. Maybe it's that you can't touch it. You can't get to it or something like that.
Self-sabotage yourself from sabotaging
Seems
yourself?
crazy. It seems crazy. DM5 raising the Jack 10. No, sorry, calling the Jack 10.
Marty, what happened? Pull a muscle.
3 players.
What's the score now, Joe?
Timmer's got half the equity. No longer.
Pretty good flop for Wonka.
No,
That is a reasonable question.
yeah.
DM5 with overs and the gutter to the nuts.
Yep.
If he hits that, Wonka's going to make 2 pair. Things could get ugly.
Were you here the night the woman
Yeah,
Wonka's still with the best of it.
But I just didn't.
just started smoking?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, that one's bet 50.
DM5 gonna take a shot.
Yep, totally reasonable. Can also rep either draw. You know, either flush draw, I should say.
If they come in, of course.
Yeah. So he has a lot of good cards for him on the river.
I try to get the 1 seed or the 9 seed, so it would have a little no smoke.
Wonka with the best of it currently.
If it smoke, I'd smoke it.
It's a pretty safe card for Wonka. He's only really losing to the king high flush draws here, or the weird air.
Well, I mean, DM5 was not the original better pre-flop, so he could have a lot of flopped pair type hands.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Bet 150.
For the dealers. Yeah. So I tried to sit there because you know you only get.
You could have a straight. You could have 2 pair.
He could have an 8 and be betting. He could have a 7 and be betting. We've seen him do
Yeah.
it. And Wonka thinks he's just not high enough in his distribution, and DM5 gets away with another one.
Maybe a bad.
Yep, it was a bad fold, Wonka.
Yep.
Like when you killed Mike TV.
That was Wonka's much chiller version of I know you're bluffing, but I fold anyway. The maybe a bad fold.
Yeah,
But it's not. It doesn't have the same annoyingness behind it. You know, it's not like trying to claim something.
well, because he's not saying it's about DM5. He's saying it's about himself,
Yeah.
right? He's saying like I may have
Yeah.
made a mistake there. So it's
Yeah.
he's taking that's the difference, right? Like when people say like I know you're bluffing, they're trying to say like you can't put one over on me, and Wonka's
Yeah.
saying you might have put one over on me.
Yeah. It's much more charming.
Yeah, it's without ego.
That's how he gets the kids. It's the charm
The kids.
to come to his factory.
Yeah,
so
be
he can-
careful there.
So he can murder them.
Okay, good. I thought you were saying something way worse than him murdering children.
Oh yeah.
Now, in fairness to Willy Wonka, the character, he's not actually murdering children. He's just putting them in situations where they could
and he
die.
he doesn't care if they do.
He has a gleeful sense about him
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they die. Yes.
Jonathan, I don't know if you were here. He was saying his birthday is tomorrow too.
Oh, wow. Oh, Jonathan's birthday's tomorrow?
Yeah, we were saying it before you guys. While you guys were getting chips.
He's gonna be like 60, right?
Yep.
They stop counting once you hit a certain age.
33 and a
Are you at
half.
that
I
age
think.
yet?
Jonathan, I just know Jonathan hit it decades ago. I don't know about it.
I've been told by our horrifically bad interns that this is the last hand of the episode.
Eliza is, I think she's the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
You can't see it, people, because you're only looking at what's on the screen, but there's so much stuff behind the scenes.
And it's like, it's not really,
Raise to 40.
it's not fair to be mad at Eliza for telling us it's the last hand. It's the way she told us, and I can't really express it without you seeing how she does it. It's just like, you
really-
can tell she's being mean about it. You
And let me
know?
just say this. She gets a Danish worse than anyone has ever gotten a Danish in the history of this show.
Yeah, if you call getting a Danish, dropping a Danish on the floor 6 times before I get it.
And putting it back on the plate and just delivering it anyway as if it's normal. What the hell? Anyway, let's focus on this hand.
Okay, I'm upset.
You'll be done at the end of this show. Eliza.
DM5 is off the rails, or he's back on the rails, I guess,
Yeah.
in his terms.
That'd be funny to have a little invisible string.
Looks like we're going to
Is Marty actually-
No, we're going to be heads up, or are we going to be 3 ways with Marty? I think we're going to be 3 ways with Marty. No,
No,
he-
it looks like
he
we're heads
folded. Okay.
Well, good. At least Marty did not call with Jack 6 off.
I
I'm
don't-
glad.
It's the interns. We're not sure yet.
Yeah.
Flush draw?
Yep, not flush draw for Joseph and nothing at all
Nothing at all. And Joseph just checks it.
for... Interesting.
He's going to go for a check raise?
I don't know. He's got ace high. Maybe he can just call.
He would certainly have a lot of equity if he decided to do so.
Whatever he wants to do, he's got 83% equity. Looks like he is going to go for the just call. He's going to walk the dog with ace high. Gotta love it. Bingo, bango, bongo. And it comes an open-ender now for DM5.
This is a card that DM5 is kind of supposed to continue on.
Yeah.
Not only does he pick up a straight draw, but he can rep that flush.
This is the dream one outer, really.
Yeah, this is
From
a great,
Joseph's point of
great
view.
card for Joseph.
DM5 may also feel obligated to continue bluffing if Joseph decides to just call here again.
65.
I could see Joseph just calling here.
Yeah, me too. It's DM5. Just delay that raise as long as possible. And he is going to just call.
I kind of like how quickly he did it.
Yeah.
He didn't do a big theatrical thing about it.
It's like, I have a 9.
Yeah.
You got to check one more time. That's right. Give him the chance. DM5 at the absolute bottom of his range here.
The bottom of anybody's range.
Yep, the worst
because
possible hand.
It is the nut low.
It's very reasonable to bluff here.
Yeah, you can rep spades for sure.
This has been working all day for DM5, and really all year for DM5 in this show.
Goes for a pretty big bet, almost pot.
Yeah, I like it. Trying to fold out that 9. Or a hand, maybe 2 7s.
Little does he know the hand's already over.
Marty knows.
I guess he does.
So, Joseph, the only question, of course, is how much to raise. I think you should really go kind of big just in case DM5 has a flush.
Joseph did do a little bit of the acting there. He did the confused look. The confused look followed by the raise is a pretty big tell in most poker players.
There's also a straight that Jack 10 comes in also, which is pretty reasonable here. I think going big is a good idea. I want to go like 1,200.
Of course, he's not going to get any more money out of this
of
hand.
course. There's nothing that's going to happen.
He's just trying to do everything he can to get a call. It's tough to get a call on a check raise no matter what.
Yes.
In this spot.
But if DM5 has a straight or better, I think he's calling. So
it's like 900 is what's been cut out.
I think we should
lower
target
more.
straights or straights.
Oh, DM5 is not folded yet. So
Can you imagine?
He's either trying to save face or he's going to try to move in and rep the nuts. Oh, it is 1.2K. You can't move in. It's over.
Oh yeah, he only has 1.5 total. He has no fold equity.
He's trying to save face for the rest of the session, I guess.
Depends which way the wind's blowing.
That's going to be it.
And that's going to do it for this episode of Poker Time.
We'll see you next week for some more of this session.
Thanks.